This is the only paint set you'll ever need. Let me explain why I like it so much, how you can paint pretty much anything you want with it, and why I think you should get one. I have to admit, I have a problem. A problem of buying too many paints. And not even using a third of them on a daily basis. And my desks were always freaking packed to the rim with paints and stuff that I probably didn't even use on a yearly basis. Some of it, of course, but a huge chunk of it. And one of the big problems was that whenever I saw a tutorial or someone recommended a paint, I would go and buy that paint. Without second thought, I'd buy all of them. And this was problematic because over the first 2 years, I probably spent somewhere around $500–600 on paints, and I probably only used a third of those paints more than once. And I've been wanting to solve this problem, not only for myself, but also for you guys watching. The question is, how do we solve that problem? How many paints are reasonable to have? And which ones do you actually need? So naturally, Lucas and I, we've been testing paints. Like a ton of testing paints. And this testing have been massive because not only have we had to try to figure out which tones we like, but also how do these tones mix together with other paints to create that perfect combination where you can paint anything you want with as low amount of paints as possible. Like, how can we get to 30 paints that can paint you Space Marines, Orcs, but also like the high-end stuff like non-metallic metal, gold, silver, and busts? Well, it's been a journey. And I feel like we've, after a long time of testing, came up with something pretty brilliant. Because how do you feel if I said that over the last year and a half, pretty much everything Lucas and I have painted have been done with a selection of 36 paints. Everything I did in my 100 Minis challenge, Lucas' army paint job, and that is just scratching the surface. And after some discussion with Vallejo, they agreed to release these 3 paint sets for us with these 36 paints that we have carefully curated over the last 2 years and worked with, worked around, and in some cases even adjusting the paints to make them be able to mix even better with the other paints in these sets. And to kind of prove our point, we have reactivated our second channel, Squidlibits, where we've already started publishing painting tutorials and will do so every week. In these painting tutorials, we are teaching you guys how to get the most from these and how you can paint pretty much anything you want using only these 36 paints in these 3 sets. And as you might see, they're split up into 3 packages, and I'm gonna quickly explain to you what each one of these boxes do and what you get in them. Each one of these sets contains 12 paints, as well as a miniature that we've designed for our fantasy universe, Sona. The minis are made in plastic, and there will be painting tutorials for each one of them on that channel. The first one, and the one that we recommend everyone to buy, is the Essential set. In here we have all of the skin tones we use, whether you're painting Caucasian skin or dark skin tones. You have the brown colors that we use to paint leather, bones, skulls, and all of that jazz, as well as a black and a white. So this is the paint set that you need no matter what you're painting. And I feel like the skin tones we got in here, they are just... And I feel like Lucas' army and the giant that I painted is a great example of that. We then have 2 color sets, and these are a little bit more depending on what you are going to paint. So if you're doing a Sylvaneth army and you need a lot of greens, or maybe you're painting orcs, then you buy the fantasy set containing a lot of greens and reds and oranges, as well as our favorite true metallic gold paints that we used to shade and highlight the Warlord Titans. And in this box we have our favorite blues, as well as the non-metallic metal colors for both silver / steel and gold. So together it contains everything you might need as a beginner or as a professional to learn the basics and to paint pretty much whatever army you have. If it's Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Ultramarines or Orcs, it doesn't matter. You are covered with these paints. Are we ever going to use any other paints or contrast paints and stuff like that in videos? I'm sure that we will in one or two, but these should be the basis that lets you be able to paint whatever you want, to follow any tutorial that we do on our channel, as well as follow the paint jobs that we do for our armies, because this is what we've been using for 1.5 years and will continue using for the unforeseen future. All of these three, as well as the wet palette and the brand new Steenbeck airbrush, is now available on our campaign site. Just a heads up, the wet palette is limited edition and we don't have unlimited copies of it, as well as what is probably the best airbrush in the world, the brand new Steenbeck 2024 Infinity Airbrush Squidmar edition. And on top of that, it's just ridiculously beautiful. If you want the Squidmar version with the beautiful black, gold and red edition and the FPC valve to control the air pressure directly on the airbrush, you need to go now within 3 weeks from the launch of this video, because it's only going to be available for 3 weeks and then it's going to be gone forever. So this is the time to get what's probably the best airbrush in the world. Now have a great day everyone. Bye bye.